What's up, everyone? It's Captain Kyle Smith, and this week I sat down for a morning meeting with business owner and inspirational speaker Kelly Cardenas. This was one of my favorite morning meetings to date, as Kelly packs so much value into the episode. From making lemonade out of lemons to running a multi-million-dollar business, Kelly shares it all. Hope you guys enjoy it. All right, hey Kelly, welcome to the bullpen. Thanks for meeting me.
I appreciate you having me, man. I've been excited for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, man.
Yeah, so have I. Ever since I was introduced to you through a mutual friend, Jay Hobson. For those of you guys that are listening don't know Jay, Jay is a fire captain on the San Diego Fire Department, who I owe a huge debt of gratitude, not only for the introduction between Kelly and I here, but also for, Jay's one of these guys that's really annoying, Kelly. He like does what he says, and he's going to follow through on everything that he says. Like if he's going to show up, if he tells you he's going to show up somewhere, he is going to show up. It's like really annoying that way. And when I was going through the promotion process for captain, Jay took me under his wing. He offered to help mentor me through the process. It's this really strenuous, hard process to get promoted. And the thing about Jay is he shows up. And so I reached out to him after I had him on the morning meeting recently. I said, hey, who else would be a good, a person that would provide value for our listeners here? And almost before I even finished texting him, he wrote back, you have to call Kelly. And as he and I are texting back and forth, I got a text from you, Kelly. It was like the most surreal thing in the world, because as Jay is texting me, he's also reaching out to you to see if you'll be on this show. And at the same time that it was like very inspiring and humbling, it was also very intimidating because, running in circles like Jay, and I'm pretty sure, Kelly, you're the same way, like really high level people is intimidating. But you agreed to come on. I just can't wait to dive into your first alarm and hear your story. And I just want to say thanks for being here.
Well, I appreciate it, man. And I feel the same way about Jay. Like that guy is, he is as solid as the day is long. And, he is always promoting other people. The way that he talked about you, Kyle, was like, he's like, he really pumped you up and was talking about what you're doing. Your content is phenomenal. I've been watching it. I'm sad because I'm not a firefighter, because I think my wife would be more attracted to me if I was. But watching you, listening to your content, hearing what you're doing, the purpose of it, I think is so absolutely phenomenal, man.
Oh, I appreciate you saying that. And it's one other thing to add to Jay's long list of cool things. He's also a liar if he was saying that I'm doing great stuff here. So, but anyway, I want to just dive into your first alarm here. But before we do that, how has the pandemic affected things in your world there?
Well, it forced me to make lemonade. And that's the thing that I've been on for this whole time is, circumstances in life are the lemons that are given all the time. And I don't believe that anyone has really positive, sweet circumstances, no matter who you are. We always get dealt the lemons, right? But lemons can be amazing if you add a little bit of sugar, a little bit of water, right? But most of the time people don't have that recipe for it. They just get mad at the lemons, or they think that, wow, my life is sour. But what we started to do, and what I started to do ultimately, is looking at it, and I got sour stuff too. And every one of my revenue streams was shut down during COVID, 100%. We have a multi-million-dollar business that's all around the nation, and every stream of income, everything went to zero, like nothing. And even my speaking career to nothing. And I really was tested in this lemonade side. And, honestly, like when you look at your circumstances, all it is just perspective and perception. So your perspective is the vantage point from which you see it. The perception is the way you receive it, right? And so the only way to change the way that you receive something is by changing the way that you look at it. And then the sugar is nothing more than joy. And most people search after happiness in life. I don't believe in that because happiness is based off circumstance, but I seek joy, and joy is a mindset. And just like with you guys, as far as firefighters, your mindset when you go into a fire into an emergency situation, your mindset is the one that saves lives. It's not the circumstance. It's not the fact that you're happy or sad or anything like that, but you have to go into that mindset of joy. And that mindset is where it's at, and it can be trained. And the last one, as far as the water is, I look to flow in my life. And what does water do? It flows. It forms into any, receptacle that you put it into. And to be able to find flow within your life, that is huge. So if you can literally add a little bit of flow, add joy, then you'll look at your circumstances a little bit different. And as opposed to having lemons that are so sour and nasty, you'll have lemonade. Did my businesses change or open up because I looked at things different? No, but it gave me the opportunity to start talking to people through this right now, like online, doing this with you. And I thought that my job had, like, I thought I had immunity for so long, Kyle, because my immunity is that I was the only profession in the professional beauty industry that I had the license to touch. And then I realized with the pandemic that, oh my gosh, my license got taken away, but God's let me know that this was touching this part, that I had to touch people's hearts, not physically touch them. So it was just a different way using modern day tools and technology to accomplish the exact same thing that I set out to do. And I think that when you look at things a little bit different, the things that you look at change.
Oh, I love that, man. That parallels exactly what we do as firefighters, and you touched on it. Like we don't create the problems that we are responsible for helping solve. But when we show up, we just have to figure it out. And it's about that mindset. It's about the way you're looking at something. And while some people might look at the pandemic or whatever call that we might be going on as just a horrible circumstance to find yourself in, the people that succeed either in the fire service or in private industry are the ones that can just, take a different look at it and just figure out a different way to solve the problems. I love that, man. I love that you're grinding, you're figuring out ways to solve problems that maybe you didn't even know existed in the first place. And I just really want to hear more about your story and your first alarm. So you ready to get this first alarm started?
Absolutely. Let's go.
Right on. Well, at the San Diego Fire Department, Kelly, a first alarm assignment consists of 4 engines and a truck. But here at the FIREhouse, I'll ask you 4 questions. You give us 1 piece of advice. That sound good?
Sounds great.
All right, cool. Well, here you go. When you're going to be first in on your first alarm, so you got to give a size up. A size up on the fire department, Kelly, is who you are, where you work, and how long you've been doing it.
So my name is Kelly Cardenas. I asked this question this morning was, am I a businessman? Am I an artist? And it was so strong to me that I'm just Kelly. I'm a guy who barely graduated from high school, didn't know that I couldn't. And I literally have stayed in that dumb state and not knowing that I can't succeed. And so I've been an entrepreneur for 28 years and been in the professional beauty space. We've got a chance to open salons all over the country, travel all over the world. Now I got a chance to be able to write a book, not because I'm smart, but because my wife told me to shut up about talking about it and just go do it. So in 6 days, I sat out in on my porch and took a orange electric extension cord and didn't have a laptop, but had an iMac, and I made that my personal laptop. And so I'm just the guy who, no matter what circumstances are thrown my way, I think that it's for my advantage. And, that's why I've been able to do and be around the people that I have been. And honestly, it's never been me. It's always been that I've had really great friends like yourself who are doing great things. And I think when you put yourself around great people, you could be great.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like that saying, you're the sum total of your 5 closest friends. And it's that network that really helps you achieve great things. But again, what I'm hearing, man, is it goes back to that mindset. You didn't have a background in writing. You didn't have a background in entrepreneurship from reading your book, which we'll touch on more in a little bit. But you set out to achieve something great. And man, you really are. For those that don't know, you can visit his website, kellycardenassalons.com, and you'll see just how amazing Kelly is. He's got salons all over the country, Vegas, Chicago, and here locally in town, up in Carlsbad. So I just love that. But you mentioned success, Kelly. What does success look like to you, or how would you define success? That's part one. And then part 2 of that question is, what holds people back from achieving that success?
Well, I think that success is doing exactly what God purposed you to do. I think it's as simple as that. And I think what holds people back from success is the fact that they, a lot of times, don't ever want to cross that boundary of what their purpose is. And we've made it very, very simple. And I've always kept things very, very simple because I don't believe I'm that smart. I just hang out with really smart people. It's kind of like a boat. Like, I don't want to have a boat. I want to have a friend with a boat. I don't want to have a plane. I want to have a friend with a plane. I don't want to have to do all those push-ups that you do to look like you do, Kyle. I want to have a friend who does. You know what I'm saying? Although I don't want you hanging out with my wife, because then she sees that it's possible. But I think the thing that holds people back from success is, again, they don't cross that bridge of asking themselves, what is my purpose? And honestly, what your purpose is to identify your gifts and then go give them away to every single person possible. And that really is everybody's purpose. And it's that simple. It's like, figure out your gifts and then go give them away. And when you find your gifts, it's your magic. Like, Kyle, you have magic. You have magic. When you turned on the camera and we started talking, it was like I knew you forever. Jay Hobson, he has magic. When he gives his magic away, success happens. But I think that so many people are so focused on the success, and they're comparing themselves to other people, which is, I think, it's a death sentence. Because when I'm comparing myself to somebody else, I'm never going to live up to it. But when I compare the world to me, I always win. So make up your own rules. Like, I barely graduated from high school, but I learned that how to be able to create a business, right? And that was not because I was smart, but because, Kyle, I got fired from my job on my day off.
Well, I got to hear more about that. I got to hear more about
so
that.
I mean, I'm knocking books over that, I'm doing everything, but I'm telling you, like, that's exactly what it was. It wasn't some epiphany. It was, I got fired on my day off, like Craig on Friday. Like, one day I got a call, and then, what am I supposed to do? Yeah. I can maybe go create a job. And then once I started to think, like, it wasn't about making money, but the ability in your head to manufacture it. And then the money fell away because you wanted to stay focused on what your actual purpose was. And that was to just give away my gifts. And my gift is, I'm not really smart, don't read well, don't write well, don't do any of those things well. But my gift is that I can find out what other people are great at, and then I allow them to do it all around me. And guess what? Things work.
That's brilliant. I love that, man. That's exactly that thing. And it's so rewarding to be able to find somebody else's gift and to help them develop it and to help foster success in them. And when you do that, that really is, you get so much more back in return than you ever have to put out there. I just love that. And you actually said something that I was going to touch on, and it's a nugget out of your book that we're going to talk about here in a second. And you say, don't fall in love with what anybody else has. Just instead of desiring what others have, just fall in love with what you have. And that is just such that's like a ancient philosophy sort of thing. Like, what you have here, what we have here is great. And I can't worry about what the next guy's doing. I can't worry about what the neighbors are doing. I'm not going to keep up with the Joneses. I got to do me. I got to get on my path, and along the lines, or along the way, I can help pull people up with me. But I just love that stuff, man. Yeah. With that book you just blasted off your table there, the 6 indicators.
Let me grab it.
Yeah, please do. The 6 indicators for business and life. You mentioned something that I have struggled with a ton, and I know especially a lot of firefighters listening will this is going to resonate with them. But it's giving yourself permission to screw up and forgiving yourself for it. I've done so many stupid things, Kelly, when it comes to my personal life, as a husband, as a father, as a friend. I've screwed so many things up. I've screwed so many things up in my personal finances, and I beat myself up over it. And what that can kind of lead to is like an unwillingness to put yourself out there. So I guess, can you just touch on a little bit, like, how would you help somebody that's struggling to forgive past mistakes, to move on beyond that, so that they can, have a more fulfilling life?
Well, I think, first of all, firefighters, number one, I love you guys. You guys are absolutely phenomenal. I have so much respect for you. One of my buddies is a battalion chief up in Lompoc, California. His name is DeAndre Wiley, and he was one of the youngest battalion chiefs. But when I say that, you guys already have the formula. You really do. And when I learned this formula, I actually learned it from John Madden. I'm a football fan, and I was watching Monday Night Football, and John Madden, in his John Madden way, he was talking about a cornerback in the NFL. And what he said was, as a cornerback in the NFL, there's two things you have to have: a lot of confidence and a short memory. You have to have a lot of confidence and a short memory. And what that meant is if you got burnt, then you had to have a lot of confidence in yourself to get back up, and a short memory, meaning that you can't remember getting burnt. You got to play that next play as if you're the best player in the world. I think that firefighters already have this. You do it every single day. When you go into a fire, you're going to save a life. In the event that something goes wrong, you guys don't sit and have a pity party. You guys go into a mindset that you're going to have a lot of confidence and short memory. If something doesn't work out, the next time when you go in, you don't carry that in. I watch you guys. I'm around you. I have a lot of friends who are firefighters. You already have this. But I think that it's applying it to the rest. And it's two things. Number one is walk in faith. Faith, meaning that, like, and imagine when you go into a house that's burning, or you're going to save a life, or you're responding to a medical emergency, like, you walk in with faith, knowing that your training is going to get you through. And then what I would say is also, to the second part, is to walk in grace, meaning that if you went to, help somebody out, try and save a life, and it didn't work out, you don't quit firefighting. You're like, okay, cool. What can I do better? And how can I get better? How can I make my body better? How can I break down my muscles so I can make it stronger? I don't do that. I don't do that with my body. You could see that on the, right now on the film. Like you, Kyle, you break down your body so you can make it stronger. I think that if firefighters, when you're talking about that, as far as the personal finances or in their lives or whatever it is, I think that if you just apply the principles that you guys do on a day-to-day basis to every single thing else, you already have the keys. Like, you guys have the discipline, you have the mindset, and you have a lot of confidence, a short memory. But now start to think that I need to walk in faith, knowing that it's going to happen, but walk in grace, because you'll forgive yourself every time that you don't hit the mark.
Oh, I love that, man. And sometimes it's like a simple concept that's not easy, because part of what I talk about a lot here at the Firehouse, Kelly, is, we're type A people. We want to be the ones to help solve whatever problems presented to us. It kind of is, people with this sort of personality are drawn to this sort of line of work, but it also gets reinforced by us going out there and having success solving problems. But with that, we can get ourselves into trouble when we think we have all the answers, and so I think what I'm hearing is be confident, have a short-term memory, don't beat yourself up too much, but then also balance that with trying to learn from other people's mistakes, learn from the past, learn from the folks that came before us. And maybe the combination of those two things can help us, really be successful. And I guess with that in mind, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Kyle. So, and when you look at it, like, it goes the other way though, too, right? So a lot of confidence, a short memory. When you go into something and you succeed, you also need to forget about that also, because if not, then you're going to have ego, and ego is what gets a firefighter hurt, right? So when you're thinking on that level, and I can tell you this, like, one word will change everything for every single firefighter out there with your personal finances. One word. And it's like this: you just shrug your shoulders. Do this for me. Shrug your shoulders real quick, Kyle. I'll do that, but do them up to your ears. Okay. And then I'm going to have you do this with me. Just raise your hand like this, and then shrug your shoulders all the way up. Now we're going to do them all the way to the ears, and then we're going to drop them. Do it one more time, and then drop them. And then repeat after me. It's the only word that my mom would ever let me say that was not a nice word. And here we go. Shrug your shoulders all the way up to your ears. And all you firefighters that are listening, do this. Raise your shoulders up to your ears, raise your hands like this, and then drop them and say, shit. The reason why I say it is because when you have a mistake in your life, shit, maybe I'll do better next time. When you don't save a life, shit, maybe I'll save another one. When you lose your job, shit. When I make a bad investment, shit. When I lose my husband, my wife, when the coronavirus hits and I lose all my businesses, shit, maybe I wasn't supposed to be doing that thing. And if you can do that, you use that one word, shit, my tire pops, I'm not making it to work, shit, maybe I wasn't supposed to be there. Then you free yourself and you give yourself grace, because guess what? You're not going to get any time back by beating the tar out of yourself. Shit, maybe I need to do a little something different.
Kelly, I just love that, man. I just love that. And by the way, you are speaking our language when you start using those words. But no, I do. I love that. I love that approach, man. I do. We can't change the past, but we can learn from it. We can start right here and change the future, and shrug your shoulders, guys, and say shit and move on. Looking back, Kelly,
Now Kyle, when they do, they got to roll it out though. You can't just say shit. You got to say shit. Like you got to roll it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And then it's good for the kids, everybody. Shit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's more cathartic that way too. Shit. Yeah. I like that. Hey, Kelly, Kelly, looking back, do you have a favorite mistake? Meaning something that you didn't beat yourself up over? You might have just said, hey, shit, and learn from it. And is it something that maybe we could learn from as well?
Well, I've closed more businesses than I've opened. Shit. I actually have more people not working for my company than I do working for my company right now. Shit. Maybe I was supposed to learn something. I think the biggest thing though for me was not choosing my profit margin before I went into a business. And I think this is huge for firefighters because I know a lot of you have, you guys work a certain amount of days during the month, but then you have other time and you get into other ventures and what we call hustle. There's difference between having hustle and being a hustler though. Now there's a lot of people go out and hustle, or they're a hustler. So they're constantly shucking and jiving and trying to do these things. But when you truly learn hustle, then you choose what you want before you actually start the thing, right? It's kind of like going to work out. Like before you go to work out, you shouldn't work out like me. Like I go to the gym with my wife and I only go because I love her. And I just roam around. I look at stuff and I'm like, wow, maybe I should pick up that weight. Maybe I should pick up that weight. You guys go and you're like, I want to strengthen my core. Oh, I want to strengthen my arms. Oh, I want to do. In business, the biggest mistake that I ever did, and hopefully you guys can learn from this, is I did not choose my profit margin before I started the business. And what I would suggest for every single one of you, whether it be in real estate, investing, whatever it is, choose your profit margin and pay yourself first. And if you pay yourself first, then you'll figure out how to be able to make all the rest of the money. But if you don't, and you let the things drop to the bottom and then you pay yourself last, you will never get paid. And so for me, in my line of work, and this might resonate for some of you, whether you're doing property or if you're doing a business, but every business is going to have these things, cost of sales. What is the percentage of cost of sales that you can have in your business and still be okay? And what is that danger zone? In our business, it's 10%. Payroll. And for us, it's 40 to 45%. Now, in some businesses, that's very high, but in our business, 40 to 45%, you're right in that sweet spot. And then the last thing is supplies. Supplies will never in our company go over 3%, ever. And if they do, then I have to dig in my own pocket, which is called a cash call, which you don't want to do when you're in a business, because that means that you're running that business without profit. So the first one is profit margin, second one cost of sales, third one is payroll, and fourth one is supplies. That's in my business. But what I've found in the consulting that I do with businesses all over, any business has these same things, but most of the time they do not have controls in place for this. And it was honestly like I've lost. I mean, over the course of 14 years, millions and millions and millions of dollars. Understand and know your profit margin. If you're getting into the real estate game, understand your profit margin. And if the profit margin doesn't make sense, then you have to have a really strong conviction about what it is that you're going to do, right? That you're doing. Now, some people are like, oh, you only profit margin? No, I'm dealing with my purpose. But if my purpose, I'm digging in my pocket every single month to be able to fund a business, then I need to go and donate my time to a charity and not run that business.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%.
And so I think that we could do this in not only in the business side, but I think we could do this in the personal side too. I mean, choose your profit margin. Like choose what it's not. My dad said this all the time growing up, is not about what you make, it's what you keep. And how can you keep more of your income? But you got to make a conscious decision to be able to do that. And honestly, I've left tons of money on the table, but shit, I'm learning, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the fact that I left millions of dollars on the table means that I have learned how to make millions of dollars. Okay. So it's a lesson. Some people pay a lot for college. I didn't go to college. I went to high school. So I'm, investing in my future.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And the part about pay yourself first, that's hugely important in any business, whether it's real estate or small businesses that you're somebody here is trying to do it like a side hustle or something. If you can't, you're not going to be able to keep the lights on. If at the end of the day, like you said, you're having to dig in your pocket to just pay the bills, then yeah, you might as well just go donate your time to charity, which is a worthwhile venture in itself. But if you're in the business of trying to make money, which it should be part of the point, you better pay yourself first for sure. Kelly, is there one resource that you would recommend people, especially firefighters listening to this, that could help them either be more accountable, to take more action, or to just try to get on the path? Is there one resource that you lean towards or think about?
I think that it's going to be signature to every single person out there. So no matter where you're at in the fire department, whether you just started off or you're in a situation like yourself and in a high ranking situation, I think that you have to find someone outside of your industry that is doing something that you deem as successful, right? And I would ask them to be your mentor. But a mentor, and I'm very, very, very weird about this word, because I get asked to be a mentor a lot by kids, because I speak to professional beauty schools all over the country, and hairdressers and people outside. And a lot of people say, will you be my mentor? I take that word very serious, meaning that a mentor is a conversation, and it's action, like you were talking about earlier. It's not about you getting advice. It's about you putting that into action. There's no reason for a person to sit down with me for 30, 45 minutes and then never use the advice. So what I would suggest is find someone who you absolutely admire. And this is in 4 areas of your life. What I would suggest: personal, professional, spiritual, financial. No one's going to hit on all cylinders for you. But personally, find someone personally that you look at their life and you think, wow, that person they're doing it. That's awesome. I'd like them to be my mentor. So you have one. Then you say professional, in their professional life. Maybe they're a CPA, or maybe they're in the military, or maybe whatever it is. Maybe they're a multimillionaire, they're a real estate investor. Maybe they don't make much money, but they do exactly what they love to do in their profession. So have that be your mentor in there. Then you say the spiritual side, right? A person who just, is on a high level and thinks on a different level. And then you think on the financial, right? And if you can get a board of directors of 4 people that hit your personal, professional, spiritual, and financial, you're going to be pretty safe. Yeah. But what I would suggest is I would write down what you want personally, professionally, spiritually, financially, laminate it on a 3x5 card, put it in your pocket, keep it with you at all times. And anytime there's what's called an opportunity that you can't miss out on comes up, reach in your pocket, look at your goals. Does it line up with all 4 of them? And if it doesn't, then pass on it. Because entrepreneurs or people who are working at to a different level, which is all you guys who are listening to this, or else you wouldn't listen to this podcast, every single one of you, none of you will ever die from starvation, of lack of opportunity, but you will die from indigestion of trying to take on too much.
No, absolutely. That's like that old Bourdain's ass concept, where you have too many choices and you wind up either stuffing yourself or you can't make a decision. I just think that's perfect. And another thing we talk about because mentorship is a huge tenet of the fire service, Kelly, and a big thing we talk about is part of giving back, right? The people that brought me up in the fire service, the best way that I can thank them is by paying it forward to the next generation and bringing them up, and then so on and so forth. But what I always tell guys is, when you're looking for a mentor, bring something to the table that can help them as well. Don't just show up. We have a tradition at in the fire service where you don't just show up to the fire station empty-handed. You show up with a box of cookies. You show up with some ice cream as a way of saying thank you for taking the time out to help us, to help the guys out, right? And so if you show up to a mentor having already done some homework, having already learned about what has helped lead them to success, and you figure out a way that you can then provide value to them, they're going to be a lot more likely to want to take you under their wing. With Jay, he took me under his wing. I have absolutely no idea why he did, because I didn't offer him the first bit of value other than somebody to hang out with. But that's a piece that I've had to learn is in searching for that mentor. Bring something other than a smiling face to the table, and you're a lot more likely to have success there. Just looking back, Kelly, is there we can't change the past, but looking back, is there one piece of advice you would give the 25-year-old version of Kelly Cardenas?
Slow down. Um, Everything's going to be okay. And I think that's the biggest part. And, for me, for so long, I was always about the next, the next, the next. When I opened a salon, generally it was 2 years and then I'd open another one. I'd want to, when I got to, for a thing to be functioning, I wanted to open something else. And I think that if I would have, at 25 years old, I would tell me, um, slow down, chill out. All those things that you dream about and that you desire are were put on your heart. God gave them to you, and he's the author of them, and he's going to be the finisher of them. So chill out and allow him to do the work. Keep showing up, keep giving away your magic, but realize that it's not going to be by your will or your might. It's going to be because God purposed you to be in that spot, and he's going to continue to do his work because he wants the glory ultimately. So that's what I would tell myself.
God, that's perfect. And it is, it's a good reminder, but it's hard. It's hard to not get caught up, desiring what the guy next door has. He shows up to work. This is a common thing in our line of work. The guy shows up to the fire station with a brand new lifted truck. It's hard not to look at that and think, my gosh, that's a beautiful truck. I really wish I could have that truck. Well, no, you're not living his life. You have to live your life, and you don't have to do it at 1,000,000 miles an hour. You just go step by step along the way. And you look back in 20 years or 15 years, and as long as you stay on the path, based on what you're put on this earth to do, you're going to achieve some amazing things. And I just think that's a perfect way to wrap up your first alarm. So with that, it looks like you got knocked on your first alarm, Kelly.
Well, I want to tell every single firefighter out there, though, when I say about the mentorship, when you choose a mentor, I'm not just saying that for you. I'm saying that for us as civilians, because for us to be able to spend time with you is so valuable, because you guys have all the traits that it takes to be successful. And I think if more people got a chance to be able to spend time with firefighters, we would have a different view of life. We would have a different view of discipline. We would have a different view of family and how to be able to take care of other people. So I believe that you guys are blessed the way that you are to be a blessing, but also you're going to bless so many people by allowing them to be your mentor, and in different facets of life. So I just want to congratulate you guys on what you're doing, and you guys are absolutely phenomenal.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you saying that. Sincerely, we all love hearing positive feedback that way. If Kelly, just to wrap things up here, before I let you go, if people are wanting to learn more about you, where can they find you?
The real Kelly Cardenas on Instagram, not because I think I'm the man, but because a Latin woman singer got my name before I did. Kelly Cardenas on Facebook. You can also go kellycardenas.com. That's my own personal website for coaching, speaking, all those things. And then there's kellycardenassalon.com. That's the best way to be able to get me.
Okay, awesome. I'll link to all those things in the show notes. I'll also link to your book, The 6 Indicators for Business and Life. Guys, if you're listening to this, pick that book up. There are just so many amazing nuggets in there, from building your culture and being productive and just getting on the path. Please, guys, do pick that up. And yeah, Kelly, with that, man, I want to sincerely say thank you for those kind words, but also for your time today. Can't thank you enough.
You're awesome, man. Thank you.
All right. Thanks again to Kelly for meeting me here in the bullpen. And Kelly has an inspiring story. Somebody that came from no financial background, had no entrepreneurial upbringing, to somebody that's now running multiple salons in multiple cities across the country. What I love the most about him, a couple things. Number one, not only is he a successful business person, but he also is humble and he doesn't take himself too seriously. But also the part about forgiving past mistakes and still remaining confident, but having that short-term memory is just perfect for us. If you'd like to learn more about Kelly, you can find him on his website, kellycardenassalon.com, or on Instagram, The Real Kelly Cardenas. If you'd like to learn more about us, we're on Facebook at The FIREhouse. That's f.i.r.e.house. On Instagram, the _fire_house. On LinkedIn, The FIREhouse Investors, or any place you listen to podcasts. If you learned something today and you'd like to hear more, please like, share, and subscribe. But no matter what you do, take this information, go out there, and get some. Station F.